Hi, everyone. Hey, it's Paul.DiGrigoli. Boy, this program here is really going to be unbelievable. It's called Book Solid, the ultimate guide to getting and keeping your customer. And whether you've been in the industry a long time or whether you're just getting into the industry, this is truly for everyone. So it's a great program. It's the 7th series of my 8 series that I'm going to do for the last 8 weeks. For each and every one of you. So I'm really going to pour it on. I'm going to give you the best of the best. And I've kind of looked over my Book Solid program. And I thought to myself, what are the 2 most important things that I should share with the audience? And number 1 is personal inventory of yourself. You know, how to increase your potential. And then secondly, how to actually become Book Solid. And I'm going to actually show you the wheel of really what it takes in order to become Book Solid. Now, I know a lot of yous, I know a lot of salons have come back already, and I ask you to, follow the rules and the regulations of your state, of your officials, and what they have to say. We, as a salon, are not going to start until May 26th, and we're taking all the precautions that we have to take for not only our employees, but also for our clientele as well. So I want you to do the same thing. And then as we get into Q3, you're going to be pleasantly surprised. Things are going to change around, but you're going to be more knowledgeable. You're going to have more experience than you've had ever before in your entire life. And I think you can take your clientele to another level, and you can build a giant clientele. So when I talk about getting ready, each and every one of you, either you're running your salons or you're behind the chair and you're dealing with your clients. So this applies to everybody. And by the way, there's a lot of material inside of this Book Solid program that if you're not a hairdresser, if you're doing any form of other business, it applies to your business as well. So you can take bits and pieces. You'll constantly, and you'll hear me talk about becoming Book Solid. So let's begin. Now, when I talk about taking a personal inventory of yourself, a lot of times we have a tendency to neglect this. And if you don't take a personal inventory of yourself, if you're not taking notes, then I think what's going to happen is I think you're going to fall by the wayside, because I think it starts with your personal inventory first of all and knowing exactly what you want. I think this gives you the ability, when you know your personal inventory, how well you're going to treat an employee and how well you're going to treat a client. And that's really, what it comes down to, is how well you treat your employees, how well you treat yourself, and how well you treat your client. So let's take this personal inventory of yourself. And I want you to jot down. So number 1, energy. Okay? How is your energy level? On a scale of 1 to 10, I want you to rate yourself what your energy level is. Now, without energy, you got nothing. Energy is a source. Nothing happens without energy. How do we get energy? How do we get energy? We get energy through, exercising. We get energy on what we eat, and what we drink, how we sleep. And I talk about that and, when I talk about the hour of power, how to get your energy level. So you got to have energy. So that's number 1 in your personal inventory. Number 2 is your emotional intelligence. That's when I talk about how well you treat a client. When a client comes in, is your emotional intelligence intact? Is your self-inventory intact? How well do you treat your client? How well do you treat the people when they say things that you don't like, or say things that might offend you, or say things that might hurt you? How well do you handle those situations? And that's the same with a client as well, because every single client is not going to be the same. Every client is going to be different. Okay? So emotional intelligence is very, very important. Secondly, you must organize your thinking. And you hear me talk about this a lot. How you start your day. I call it HOP, H-O-P, hour of power, how you start your day. Okay? The first 20 minutes, the second 20 minutes, and the third 20 minutes. I went over this every single time in all 7 series about HOP. How you start your day is a significant and an important factor. And by the way, These are some of the best people in the world. Some of the most successful people start their day with HOP, H-O-P, the hour of power. So organize your thinking. You know, you want to sit down, you want to drink a cup of coffee. Coffee has, antioxidants in it. It'll give you the ability to think. And I want you to write down your one-page plan and, your big five, your little five, and how you're going to set your day up. I mean, that is extremely important. So organizing your thinking. Secondly, if you have energy, if you have emotional intelligence, and you organize your thinking, it's going to set you up for productivity. That's how well you're going to treat the client. That's how fast you're going to move. That's how certain you're going to be when you're creating formulations, or you're going to do scissor over comb, or you're going to do just a haircut, of what section to do, of how you're going to create sections, of how you're going to do a balayage, or how you're going to do an ombre. That'll set the stage for your productivity, okay? Fifthly, would be your creativity. How creative are you? In this industry, becoming book solid, 85% is your personality, is in your attitude, 15% is your technical ability, and that has to do with your creativity. If you don't constantly and continually start to be creative and continue to be creative, you will get stale, you will get burnt out, and you will end up basically quitting or just doing the same thing over and over again, day after day, week after week, month after month, when it comes to your creativity. So you constantly and continuously have to keep up your creativity. I mean, if you look at some of the most successful hairdressers, they constantly go to classes. They constantly learn. They learn from other hairdressers. They're constantly learning and growing. You can never, ever, ever stop learning when it comes to creativity. Okay? Number 6 is your personality. And you must have a personality when it comes to this business, because you're dealing with people. Business to business is people. And I don't care if you're Southwest Airlines, if you're Disney World, if you're Home Depot, if you're Costco, they're constantly and continuously dealing with people. So we are in the people industry. We're dealing with people. So you got to have a great personality. You have no choice. If you really think about it and you ask yourself, why do you lose clients? A lot has to do with your personality. A lot has to do with the way you treat customers. And, and a lot of times we get into this mindset that we think we treat every single client the same. We don't. And I'll be perfectly honest with you. So you got to have a great personality. When? All the time. You got to love people. When? All the time. So when people walk through the door, they're not going to be the happiest. They're not going to be the joyous. Your job is to turn them around and make them happy. I'm not saying that you got to make everybody happy, but some of the people you really got to make happy. Okay, leadership, okay? And you've heard me talk a lot about this in the last 7 series, how important leadership is. And if you can't lead yourself, you won't lead other people. So it's imperative how well you lead people. And you are in a position where you're leading someone, they're sitting in your hydraulic chair, they're going to the shampoo bowl, they're going back to the hydraulic chair, you finish them up, you take their cape off, you blow dry them, you do their makeup, you do their hair, you do everything. It's imperative that you have great leadership. And great leadership is, number 1, is how well you treat other people. And number 2 is that you provide opportunities for other people within your salon, the same form of energy and the creativity and the organizing your thinking and your emotional intelligence and your energy level, so it rubs off on them. And if you're not, then move your station or get away from that person, because, toxic people are easy to get addicted to. You know what I mean? They watch TV a lot. They sit on their couch a lot. They watch a lot of different, negative things, and everything is bad, and it's not that way. Okay? So please, please, please zero in on your leadership. And like I said, you got to lead yourself before you can lead anybody else. It's just like you being a great mom or a great dad. In order for you to be a great mom, you got to lead yourself. In order for you to be a great dad, you got to lead yourself. Not any different in the salon because you're leading a client. Okay? Eighth is you got to have great communication. You got to be able to communicate very, very well with your client. Now, I'm making a suggestion that you not only, I don't want you to look at the client through the mirror. I want you to look at the client face to face. Get your back towards the station, turn the hydraulic chair around, do whatever you have to do. But I think it's absolutely important that you look at your client, look at their face, look at their eyes, look at their cheekbone, see where you're going to place the hair, whether it's going to be on the face, off their face, see how much time they spend with their hair, see whether or not they use a blow dry iron, a curling iron, a flat iron. These are important things, especially now during these turbulent times when we have clients come in the salon. A lot of us are not blow drying, but we want to make sure the client looks good. If you do a great haircut, if you do a great color, and the client looks good, once you blow dry it, that's your bonus. So, you know what I mean? I think for the time being, make sure that you do absolutely beautiful work and you communicate with the client with excellence. And communicating is to find out what their needs are, find out how to take away their pain because they have pain. You know, it could be as simple as I got split ends, you know, my hair is dull, I need a haircut. I haven't got a haircut, you know, for 8 weeks since, you know, you closed the doors. All these things are absolutely imperative of how well you communicate with the client. When it comes down to it, that's what it comes down to, how well you communicate with the client. Okay? And then lastly is personal development, and you've heard me talk about this in the last 11 series, and that is work harder on yourself than you do on your job. When you really think about it, if you work really, really hard on yourself, then you're going to be pleasantly surprised that the more you have, the more you can give. You can't give somebody something that you don't have. So I think it's absolutely crucial when it comes to personal development. And work on yourself every single day, day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. Don't let this slide. I know it's hard to read a book. I know it's hard to sit down, but most of the successful people are readers. Leaders are readers. I mean, you look at Warren Buffett. That guy reads 5 hours a day. You know what I mean? I mean, he's the most wealthiest man in the world. You know, why would he read 5 hours a day? You know, ask him. Find out what he's doing. Learn from him. I've read every single book that he put out. I've, you know, gone on Facebook. I've gone on Instagram. I've seen some of his work. I mean, an amazing man. You know, a lot of us don't have so much information like that when it comes to, you know, Warren Buffett and actually reading 5 hours a day. But what about 1 hour a day? What about 30 minutes a day? Something to trigger your mind, something to get you going. Okay? So when you think about the personal inventory, let's think about it. How do you increase your potential? Energy, number one. Number two is emotional intelligence. Number three is organize your thinking. Organize your thinking. Number four, it's productivity. So if you got all those lined up, then you're going to organize your productivity. And it doesn't matter whether you're a leader or a manager or you're not behind a chair. It doesn't matter. How well do you lead your team? How well do you lead your stylist? Okay? Okay. Fourth is creativity. Keep your creativity high. Your personality. You got to have a personality in this industry. You know, you're dealing with people all the time. And then number 7 is leadership. And number 8 is communication. And then you have number 9 is your personal development. And I want you to work harder on yourself than you do on your job. That's the personal inventory that you must do on yourself to increase your potential. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I want you to rate yourself. 1 to 10, energy. 1 to 10, emotional intelligence. 1 to 10, organizing your time. 1 to 10, your productivity. 1 to 10, creativity. 1 to 10, personality. 1 to 10, your leadership. 1 to 10, how well do you communicate? And number 9, 1 to 10, personal development. How much time do you spend on your personal development? So that gives you the 9. Rate yourself 1 to 10, 10 being the highest. Don't lie to yourself. And I think it's important to be honest with yourself and what areas that you have to work on. You might say, okay, personality, I'm doing great with my personality. I got an 8. I just got to just ramp that up just a little bit. Okay, maybe your energy level. Maybe you're not eating the right foods. Maybe you're not exercising. Maybe you're not getting the proper sleep. Maybe you're tossing and turning. I don't know. But don't lie to yourself when it comes to personal inventory and how well you increase your potential. Okay? All right, next. All right, so now I'm just going to give you some statistics, some projected growth. Okay? Just so you all know, this is a $45 billion industry. There's no social media that'll ever take our job. It's impossible. Everything is in our hands and it's in our mind. It's how well you execute. It's how well you deliver. So there's no social media. I think social media is important. You should be on social media. Click, before and after. Let the clients know what you're doing, okay? Now, not a lot of jibber jabber, okay? But it's a $45 billion industry, gonna get bigger. Women spent $12.5 billion on color alone. Color is gonna explode. Why do you think everybody's jumping on the bandwagon and a lot of these distributors are opening up color lines and they're carrying color lines because they feel it's the best? You know what I mean? You have to look at, the formulations. You look at the cost of the color. You look at the consistency. You look at the performance. How well does it deliver? And those are the things that you got to think about when it comes to picking a color line. Just don't pick a color line because you love the packaging and you love the design. You know what I mean? Once it comes out of that tube, once it comes out of the bottle, then that's entirely up to you. So I want you to think about that, and we don't think about that. The cost, and I think I share this with you. October is the best time to raise your prices. You should raise your prices every single October. Come October 1st, you should raise your prices. The cost of living is 2.5%, a year. And then October, November, December, I wouldn't advertise in November, December. That's just my opinion, okay? Because that was your busy month. People are all coming in. They want to look good for the holidays. So I want you to really think about that. Every single one of you should take a step back and think about how much you're charging your clients and how much you're charging for color and how much you're charging for haircuts. And maybe not do it right now, but down the road, I would absolutely say to yourself, increase your prices anywhere from $2 to $5 right across the board come October every single year. Not just once, but every single year. You should be, getting the prices that you're getting. We're in a business that there's no social media that will ever take it away. People need us, okay? All right, so what's the projected growth? Estheticians are going to climb 38%. Nail techs are going to increase 17%. Cosmetologists 16%. And then barbers 7%. Now, them are all statistics that's between now, 2020, and 2026. So you're going to see an increase along the line when it comes to a bar graph like that. And then, by the way, don't say to yourself, well, I think barbers should be at, 13%. Or I think cosmetologists maybe should be at 18%. Or maybe nail technicians should be at 17%. And I think estheticians should be at maybe 45%. It's going to vary from state to state, from the United States to other parts of the country. So, but in general, we're going to continue to climb, as you see cosmetology increase and as it goes along. So this is the best time to be in this industry right now in the next probably 10, 15, 20 years. It's going to be unbelievable when I tell you. So don't let this coronavirus, the Corona-19 hurt you or set you back with obstacles and defeats and disappointment. You learn from something from it because you're going to come big. You're going to come back bigger, better than ever than you've done before in your entire life. And I'm a firm believer of that. Okay, so when you think about it, the projected growth, between now and 2025, let's think about it. So cosmetology, you're going to see almost a 13% increase. Okay, paralegal, almost 8%. Hospitality, it's going to go to like 8%. Retail, 7%. You're all reading about it. JCPenney, they're closing over 200 stores. They're filing for bankruptcy. J. Crew filing for bankruptcy. And basically, when you think about it, a lot of times people file for bankruptcy. It's not because they mismanage their money or they don't have the money. It's how well they treat the customer. That's what it comes down to. That's why I can't reinforce when you become book solid is to take care of the customer. Know the value of a lifetime customer. I don't care if they're a bitch. I don't care if they give you a hard time. Try to understand them. That's what it comes to. Understand them. That's all I don't care what business you're in. That's what it comes down to. It comes down to the customer. Okay? So, hospitality, I said is at 8%. Retail, 7%. Think about it. Think where that direction is going. Teaching and education is at 6%. And then law enforcement is 4%. So we're, and I can go on and on and on. That's just a short list. I mean, the cosmetology is growing exponentially. And every single one of you have this opportunity. So I want you to take advantage of this opportunity. There's no question about it. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about the market share. And I'm going to go through this very quickly because I want you to understand the market share. The traditionalists, 71 plus, they have a ton of money. They're going to come back into the salons. The baby boomers, 52 to 70, that's like me. They want to look 10 years younger, okay? The new 50 is the new 40. The new 60 is the new 50. The new 70 is the new 60. You've heard that before. It is the truth, especially through this COVID-19 and in this coronavirus. People are exercising more. They're getting out there in the public. They're eating better. But, there's the opposite too. I mean, people are drinking more. They're drugs. There's more domestic violence. It goes on and on and on and on. But where do you stand and what do you want to give your clients, okay? So the boomers, 52 to 70, they get a lot of money and they want to spend it and they want to spend it on themselves. They want to look good. Then you have the Generation X, which is 37 to 51. They're another group that wants to look younger. And then you have the millenniums, which you all complain about. I know you do, 22 to 36. But when you think about the millenniums, we need them. They want to, they want to keep the ball going, and they want to become somebody, and they want more. They just want it quicker, better, faster than we've ever got it. So I want you to understand them. I want you to understand what their needs are, and you can capitalize on the millennium group, if you will. And then you have the iGen, and then you have the Gen 2020, and that's 7 to 21, and I want you to understand them as well. But if you think about that graph, you think about the boomers, and then you think about the Generation X, 37 to 51 is the Generation X. They got money. And then the boomers, 52 to 70, they want to look younger. So I want you to really think about that. Now, let's talk about the upgrade, and let's talk about the wheel when it comes to building a clientele. And I want you to write this down if you're not writing it down, okay? This is really important. So just jot down new clients, okay? And it takes 4 visits in order to retain that client, in order for that client to become your client. 4 visits for a new client. And by the way, it takes 4 visits in order for you to have that client become your client, to retain that client. And I want you to think of the cost of that. The first time, the second time, the third time, the fourth time. You really don't start making money off that client until like the 3rd or the 4th visit. So make sure that you're wowing that client. Make sure you're giving them a good experience. Make sure that you're giving a good experience in the technical end of it and how well you treat them and then everybody in the salon and the environment. 4 visits in order for a new client to become your client. Okay? Secondly, retention. And right next to retention, I want you to jot down, that's my report card. And it is. And it really is your report card of how well you can keep that client. And it's retention. And after the 4th visit, it's the 5th, it's the 6th. And remember this, for a female client, it's anywhere between 8 to 12 times that they'll come in. And then for a guy, it's anywhere from 12 to 16 times. Guys usually come in every week, or they come in every 2 weeks, or some of them will come in 3 or 4 weeks. But guys usually come in more frequently than women do because of the balayage, because of the highlight, because of the foil than any other client. So retention is really important. That's kind of your report card, and I want you to put that next to retention. That's my report card, and I want you to really think about that. A lot of you know what your retention is. In the book, you can put R for retention, and they say that out of 10 clients, 8 of them should be retention, and 2 of them should be either a referral or a new client. So retention is really important. That tells you how well you did a good job or not. If you don't see that client within 8 to 10 to 12 weeks, then I'd give them a call and find out why they didn't come back to you. Maybe the price, maybe because of your personality, but maybe you didn't say hello to them. Maybe you didn't do a good job. I really don't know. But it costs a lot of money to get a new client. So retention is really important. So while that client, make them feel outstanding. When you go to Disney World, the reason why we go back to Disney World, we don't care if we pay $35 for a haircut, for an ice cream cone, because it's the experience that we're getting. We don't mind standing in line, even though we got the Fast Pass. We want to stay in line, and we want to go on this ride. You're in Disney World, and they really make a difference, okay? Number 3 is referral. So you have new clients, you have retention, and then you have referrals. How well does this client talk about you? And they say that for in business, in any business, they say that if you do a great job, they'll tell 5 people. If you do a bad job, they will tell 10 people. So the worse that you treat your client, the more they're going to talk about you. The better you treat your client, the less they talk about you. That's just the way it is. But if you ask me what the number 1 marketing idea is and what is the famous marketing that anybody can ever do, and that is to do absolutely beautiful work. And I think that's extremely important. Do great work. Every time a client leaves your salon, your autograph is on their head. So referrals are really important, that because people will buy from friends. People will go where friends go. Once in a while, you might see somebody in a grocery store, and you heard me say this last week or the week before in one of my programs that we spend 22 minutes in the grocery store. We spend 45 minutes in the salon. So we have an advantage when it comes to the salon. So take care of your customer, communicate really well, and get your referrals up, because that's where your clients will come from. Okay? Pre-booking, and by doing this for 47 years, I'm embarrassed to tell you this, that 49% of people pre-book their clients. There's 1.7 million licensed hairdressers in the United States, and only 49% pre-book. There's no excuse today. Everybody has their calendar on the cell phone. They know where they're going. Some do, some don't. I would probably say the baby boomers are the less, but the Generation X, they're on their phone. Their calendars are on the phone, especially the Millennium Group especially. So there's no excuse today to pre-book your client. Maybe you want to pre-book all the way out. It's better to call your client and to reschedule them to actually book them. And some of you book online. Some of you let them book online. Some of you don't. But I think it's important to pre-book, because that is, next to pre-booking, you might want to jot down in parentheses, that's your financial status. So from week to week to week, to month to month to month, how well you're book solid and what your financial status is going to be. You can actually add up the number of clients that you do for the day, and you can get a total at the end of the day of what you're going to bring in. So I think pre-booking is really important. The next one is what I call superpower. And we all have 3 superpowers. And I want you to think about this, because a lot of us try to be all things to all people. And I think that's a no-no. When you try to be all things to all people, you dilute your potential. And we talked about how to get your potential, but you dilute your potential. So here's a question I want you to ask yourself. What are you really good at? Are you good at doing color? Are you really good at men's haircuts? Are you really good at updos? What are you really the best at? Are you really good at waxing? What comes to you naturally where you work on it, it's effortless. And I want you to think about your 3 superpowers. What do you do best? You know, you could be an effective leader. You could catch people doing things right. You could be sincere. You could be moving the company forward. You could be moving the salon forward. You could be moving another stylist forward. That could be one of your superpowers. So you have to identify 3 that you really do the best. And that's for your homework. I want you to identify what are your 3 superpowers. What do you do effortlessly? What do you do the best? What do you do without thinking about it? And when you do thinking about it, it becomes you become the BIW, the best in the world at what you do. So your superpower is important. Everybody thinks that you got to be all things to all people. You might be the only person in the salon. You might be book solid, you know, but eventually it's going to wear you down because you're going to start questioning yourself and you say, is this really worth it? I'm doing everything. I got to go get the paper towels. I got to get the toilet paper. You know, I got to get the Windex. I got to get this. I got to take care of the order. You know, I got to take care of my client. I got to shampoo my client. It goes on and on and on. That's how we become burned out, is we try to be all things to all people. And I'm telling you from personal experience, because that used to be me. I used to be like a gerbil in a cage, you know, probably 20 years ago. But when I first started out for 20 years, I wanted to go, 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 go. I had 3 salons. I didn't have the school at the time, but I wanted to go, 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 go. And it's impossible. It's totally impossible. I don't care who you talk to. Some of you have to do a lot of things, but for the most part, I want you to peel back and I want you to think about what becomes effortless to you. Okay. Next is customer service and how well do you project customer service. We can talk about customer service all day long and we can hit on every single button when it comes to customer service, but you must take care of the customers. You must go the extra mile. The most successful businesses today don't take their eyes off the customer. And I can give you a whole laundry list. You already know who gives good customer service, who's still alive in your business, and why they're still alive. So I want you to think about that. That's all I want you to do. How well, on a scale of 1 to 10, do you give good customer service? And that's really important. Okay? Next, scheduling. How well do you schedule? During this coronavirus, I think that you're going to be pleasantly surprised. A lot of us are not blow drying. A lot of us are just what we call ruffle blow drying. We're doing the color, we're doing the cut. Some of us in Massachusetts not even allowed to do waxing. But I want you to think about this. When this turns around, when this comes back, I want you to be ready. And I want you to schedule accordingly. So take the maximum out of your booking, and I want you to book accordingly. So on a scale of 1 to 10, if you have a 9 o'clock, if you have a 9:30, if you have a 10, if you have 11, whatever you have, I want you to book. And I want you to start for you to think about it right now. Right now, during the coronavirus, I think that you're going to have to do a 9, then you're going to have to do like a 10:30, and you might have to do a 12, whatever way that you schedule. But I want you to think about it, and I don't care if you work 3 days or 4 days or 5 days. You work, 3 8-hour days. You work 3 12-hour days. Whatever way you work it, you work Thursday through Saturday. I don't know, but I want you to think about your scheduling and how well do you schedule, especially coming back. Okay. Next, I want you to think about this, and I call it PCA, per client average. And at the end of the day, if you do 10 clients at the end of the day, okay, and you divide the amount of services that you charge the client by the number of clients, you're going to get PCA per client average. And if there's anything I want you to know, I want you to know how much each client spent in your chair as they move forward. Some of you might say, well, each client spent $105. Some of you spent $75. Okay, so that's a good thing. So I want you to think about that, and that's the only thing I want you to do. I mean, I know that there's softwares out there that give you all kinds of numbers that you can imagine, and I want you to still do that. I mean, I think it's great information. I think it's great results, but that's a full-time job. You've got to have somebody do that full-time. But for you to become book solid and understand that why you're book solid, get your PCA up there per client average. Maybe you want to go 150. Maybe you want to go 175 per client to every client that sits in your chair. Okay? And then lastly, I want you to think about this. That's all I want you to do is think about this. Think about all the clients that you have. Think about your new clients. And when you think about your new clients, think about the value of a lifetime customer of that new client. If you keep them for 5 years, how much do they actually spend every 8 weeks? Let's say they come in 10 times a year. How much do they spend a year? How much do you get from that client? If you raise your prices, 2.5%, the cost of living every single year, every October, how much is that client going to be worth? A year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, even though you still have that client. That's something I want you to think about, because we go in the salon and we just do the next client, and the next client, and the next client, and the next client. And we really have no one to think about, and we have no one to talk about and think about what the value of a lifetime customer is. Okay? So when you really think about it, new clients, retention, referrals, pre-booking, your 3 superpowers. How well do you do customer service? How well do you do your scheduling? Because that's going to add up to your customer service. Your PCA per client average. How much is your client spending every time they sit in the chair? And then the value of a lifetime customer. If you understand how many times a new client comes in, where they come from, your retention is so important, and your referral is really important. Your pre-booking, make sure that you pre-book every single client. Your 3 superpowers, give them unbelievable customer service, scheduling, PCA per client average, which is very important, and then the value of a lifetime customer. If you understand each one of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, there's 9 of them, you will become book solid, and you'll stay book solid because you understand. And we need this every once in a while. I love it. I learn something from it every time I teach the class. Okay? All right. So hopefully that gives you an overview of what it takes to become book solid. I talked to you about your potential and how there's 9 categories, and to zero in on your potential. And then if you know your potential, then you become book solid. And I really believe that's the name of the game. So that concludes my book solid. Next week, I'm going to do a recap of all 7 series, and the last series, the 8th series, is called Rescue, and that's where I'm going to be really talking about the best of the best in each one of the programs that I taught. And maybe you missed it, maybe you didn't, maybe you want to tell your friends, maybe you want to put it on Facebook, maybe you want to do it on Instagram, but Rescue is going to be really all about the best of the best, being the BIW, the best in the world of our industry, and the best of what I've taught. And then also I left you a comment, and I want to hear from you what you want to hear, and because I'm going to continue this on the next every Tuesday at 11 o'clock. We'll be all back to work. Maybe you don't want to do it at 11 a.m. Maybe you want to do it at a different time, or maybe you want to go back to it. That's fine too. But I want to make sure that I keep you alive, that I keep you on track. When we fall off track, I want to get you to come back on track, and I want you to zero in on the best of the best of the best, so you can become more successful than you are today. That's the name of the game. Now, if you feel that you're doing great and you're very happy where you are, there's nothing wrong with that. I think the most important thing is to understand where you are and where you want to go. There's not anybody in the whole world who wants to have more money and be able to do what they want, when they want, whenever they want, with whom they want, in our whole industry. So by you taking baby steps, I'm not trying to throw anything down your throat other than pure education to help you continue to grow. I've been doing this for 47 years. There's not too much I haven't seen. So book solid. And don't forget, I'm an author. I wrote the book, Book Solid, The Ultimate Guide to Getting and Keeping Clients. For all of you that are on Facebook, it's only $20 for you. Just It's usually $29 plus tax. Just email me. Let me know that you want a book. Or if you chose to listen to it in your car, I also have it on CD. And by the way, I'm not reading it. It's a live presentation. I think it's about 90 minutes that I do. It is book solid. That's also $20. So the book is $20 or the CD is $20. It's entirely up to you. You don't have to get any of it if you're not going to read it or you want to share it with someone else. But this is a course that each and every one of your stylish should listen to or hear it, because it's going to give us some tools and some ideas of how to become book solid. Because believe me, you're not truly successful until you can walk away from your business and your business can run without you. I say this all the time. That's when you're successful. And you really have good people to work for you and give your people opportunity within the organization, and they will be a thoroughbred for you. Okay? All right. So I guess that's it. If anybody has any questions, they can email me or they can send me a note on Facebook. And I'll see you next week, because next week is going to be a series of rescue. So I want to make sure that you all know that. It's Tuesday, the 26th of May. The 27th, I will be back in my salon and in my school on the 26th. So I will be doing it live from my office. I'm in my Sarasota home now, but I will be back to my Massachusetts home where my salon and my school is. And I'll be able to share with you Rescue, the best of the last 7 series. Okay? All right, you guys have a great week. I know a lot of you across the country have started. Take care of your customer. Love your customer. Create raving fans. If you create a raving fan, they will never leave you. If you create a satisfied customer, they will leave you. A raving fan is you do all the little extra things that people don't do. So, might be their name, might be the name of your salon. Say it over and over again. Say thank you. Say appreciate you. That's what a raving fan is all about. So create those raving fans. They will never leave you. The satisfied customer will leave you. Have a great day. Have a great week. And take some time for yourself and think. Think strategically what it takes to become book solid and do your job effortlessly and have fun doing it. When you're having fun, you're doing it right, time disappears. When you don't have fun, then time is a long time. You keep looking at the clock and hoping that it moves. But when you're having fun, time disappears. It goes by quickly. You go, oh my God, it's already 6 o'clock or it's already 7 o'clock. So in any event, thank you for listening to me. Thank you for watching me. I'll see you next week for Rescue, which will be the 8th series of this program. And that'll be at 11 a.m. So you take care. Have a fun week. And for those of you that haven't opened yet, if you want to call me, you can let me know on Facebook as well. If you have a question or an answer, I'd be more than happy to answer it for you if I know the answer. If I don't, then I'll reach out to all my friends that know the answer, because they've been doing it for a long time. So listen to a lot of good speakers out there as well. Take care, have fun, and have a great day. Bye-bye, and a great week. Bye-bye. Have fun.